I've always loved these clay face renders that Chad made when we came out with these clay textures. There's just so much detail and the lighting's perfect. So I decided to challenge myself today and open up Cinema 4D and see if I could recreate a render like this in 10 or 15 minutes or so. So let's head on in and let's see if I can do it. All right, here we are in Cinema 4D and let's get started. As always, I'm using the Redshift starter scene file. You can grab this at Greyscalegorilla. We'll link it up down below. It's free. This will help me with lighting and cameras. It's all kind of set up, ready to go. All right, let's go ahead and delete the shader ball, and we'll just delete the ground as well. And we need to get that face. So I think the best way to do that is to go into the Cinema 4D library, and you can just type in bust. And right here, there's a male bust. You could use any one of these. I think this is the one I used in the past. So let's go ahead and grab this one and let's frame it up and let's get this close. And I think what I want to do is do like a tall render. So it's for like a phone or something like that. So let's go to our resolution and do 1080 by 1920. Yeah, that should work. Okay, so I want the ears here ready to go, and let's just kind of frame this up. All right, so we need that clay material. All right, so I'm gonna hop into the Greyscalegorilla Studio, and I'm gonna type in clay. I think it's clay rough. I think it's one of those. And I think it's from the white family here. Let me see where this is. Yeah, clay rough. I know I love this one, 10, and let's grab something with a little bit less detail in it as well. What I love is these that make it look like you're building and sculpting something. So these clays that have the kind of the sculpting tools kind of scraping through it makes it look like you kind of formed it with your fingers or some tools and stuff like that. So let's go grab those two. I sent them both into Cinema 4D. And let's go ahead and grab clay rough white and just replace the material that came with it. And already we got some nice details. So Redshift auto displaces materials now. So all these clays have displacement built in, but we want more control over it. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to add a tag and go to our render tags and get a Redshift object tag. And if you've seen some other videos, you probably see me do this where we turn on override, turn on enabled. I'm going to set the minimum edge length to 0. This is going to make sure that everything gets deformed. And then I'm going to set the, just leave the maximum subdivisions there and turn on displacement enabled. So now it's forcing this higher geometry kind of detail. And we could also bump this up. So we could do like 1.6 or something. This is just going to add a lot more thickness to this model. Hey, it's Nick here from the future with a quick reminder to make sure that your maximum displacement is always higher than your displacement scale. If you don't set this number higher, then this number will start to clip as you go up. So if you're setting this to 1.6, make sure your maximum displacement is set to 2 or something like that. So just make sure this number's higher than this one and you'll be all set to go. Okay. Let's head back to the tutorial. This may be too much, but let's just kind of start here and see what we do. I think it's also scaled. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. It's also scaled a little bit too large. So if you imagine these almost like thumbs going through the clay, I kind of imagine this a different scale. So I'm going to grab the material and let's go like 1.5. It's not that much smaller, but it should be a little smaller. It's going to calculate because it is doing a bunch of geometry. Ooh, I like that. It's certainly too thick. I don't need it displaced that much. Let's go back down to the 1. And I think we could also offset it a bit. So what I love is finding a way to get these holes like in the eyeballs. So you'll see what I mean if we get it right. That already looks more like a face. Like see how there looks like thumbs kind of pushing into the eyes there. Sometimes you just got to offset it just a little bit to see if you could find like a better fit for the eyeballs. Ooh, that's a spooky one too, kind of mummified. All right, so let's just go with this for now. We can come back and tweak it. Let's go with the lighting now. This HDRI is fine. It's just too bright. And I think we're going to get a custom light so we can animate it. So let's go ahead and just dim this exposure down. just to give like, here's kind of the room light. And then let's grab a softbox so we could animate this and also make it a little bit more spooky and dramatic. So I'm going to go into Greyscalegorilla Studio and type in softbox, and this is going to pull up a bunch of softbox HDRs that we could really easily make a light with. So I'm just going to go with a regular softbox here, softbox center. And when I send it to Cinema 4D, using Smart Send, which is on by default here, it's going to add not just an area light, it's going to add all of that softbox detail to the area light and put it in a controller so we could really easily just rotate it around. So I'm just going to rotate this around to the side so we can see all this nice detail. And, you know, again, I think we're overdoing it a little with this model. So I think we can tone this down. So let's go to 0.7. I don't want it to be super thin because all this detail is what I love. But it's just a little bit too much in these little sharp edges. Okay, that looks better. So we have our rough lighting here. I am going to turn off the HDRI in the background. To do that, I'm going to select the HDRI, go down to this camera slider, and just turn it all the way to the left. That's going to give us a black background. And I think I have a little bit of room to move up as well. And we have something good going on here. So I'm going to grab the camera focus and just make sure that our camera is focused exactly where we want it. This is also built into the scene file. If you don't have, or if you're starting from literal scratch, you don't have one of these camera focuses, you can grab any camera. Under optical, you're going to see object camera focus. You can just drag any null into here. And if you have our scripts installed, we have one called focal point null, where you can grab any camera and it'll make one of these camera focuses. Once you have it, then you can just click on this place tool, literally click in your viewport where you want your camera to be in focus, and then it will always be in focus no matter if you zoom in or zoom out. So I'm just gonna go back to where we were. Okay, so where do we go from here? Well, let's, first of all, let's animate this light, okay? Let's just grab the light. Let's go to the coordinates and let's grab our rotation. I think I want to just animate this light going around this way. Okay. So I'm going to make it go negative. So let's start there. And to make the numbers even, I'm just going to add another null right in the middle. And I'm going to add it to that null. And I'm going to grab the rotation of this null, which is the H, drag it in a drop zone, and it's going to automatically make a signal tag. And from here, I'm going to set a linear keyframe, which just means it's going to animate directly linear for now. And I want this to go from 0 to negative 365. So this should give us one complete rotation from 0 to 90. And I don't want this to just be a linear move. I'm going to make this a little bit more slow and then fast and then slow, something like this. So let's just play that. And it's going to be slow and then fast and then slow. Slow, fast, slow. Good. All right, we got to balance this light out a little bit more. I think this fill light is a little too bright. Let's go back into our HDRI and let's tone it down just a little bit more. I just want it barely noticeable, like it's a room light. That'll add a little bit more kind of spookiness, especially when this light is off to the rear and the side. And I think the size of the softbox is fine. Let's just check it by zooming out and looking at how big this softbox is compared to our character. I think it's a little large for this head. So let's go ahead and shrink it a little bit and also move it closer. So let's go ahead and move this closer by moving the Z position. And I think once we move it closer, we may want to shrink it a little bit. So let's go back into our light. Yeah, it's also still too bright. So let's go into our exposure. Let's tone it down and let's just shrink this rectangle down. So softboxes give things a very soft, kind of friendly feel. And in this case, we're making something that's a little bit more spooky, right? We're making something that's a little bit more dramatic. And usually when you're in drama mode, you want things that are a little bit more harsh, like harsher light, more spotlights, less big softboxes. So by shrinking this area light, we're giving it a little bit more drama, a little harsher shadows, which I think adds to the kind of like mood we might be going for here, okay? So I'm just gonna put the light on the other side to just check some other angles here. That's looking really good. Okay, so what else can we do? Well, this on its own looks pretty cool. I think this will render nice. But let's add also a little bit of camera motion. So in this case, we have our camera. And what I want to do is set up a null right in the middle of this guy's head. So let's go ahead and grab a null. And it looks like it's down. So let's just move it up a little bit. And I want it to be right in the middle. So I'm going to zoom out. I'm also going to make this a little larger so we could see what's going on. I'm going to just zoom in and place this exactly where I want it, which is right in the middle of the noggin. That's the technical term we're going for. Okay, once it's there, I'm going to move this back up, go to our camera, and what are we going to do with this null? Well, this is our camera rotate. Look at me naming something for once. All right, I'm going to grab the camera and put it in the camera rotate. And then we're going to use the camera rotate to essentially animate. That's fun. You got to make noises. Let's do one more. Okay, so let's go back to 0. We're going to animate this null using signals. In this case, I don't just want to animate H like we did before. This time I'm going to drag in all the R's. So all I have to do is just grab from where the R is, drag it in a drop zone, let go, and now it's going to let me animate all 3. X, Y, and Z essentially. Okay. Now I could go to add modifier, go to noise, go to the noise tab and say, I want random rotation between, you could dial this in. I'm just going to do some low numbers, something like 15 each. And I could set a loop point, okay, which is 90 frames. And after 90 frames, it's going to loop back around to 0. So now I have a perfectly loopable animation. I have the light spinning around, right? The light's doing its move. And we're looking good. Now that light animation, I could already tell it's a little too fast. So let's just go to 120. And all we have to do is change our signal to make sure that it's running on 120 frames instead of the original 90, which is just what it comes as default. So I'm going to go into right here and say, okay, I want 120. And I also want to go into the noise tab and set our loop point to 120 instead of 90. So that'll make sure our noise animates perfectly around. And now, boom. Okay, I think that's too much wiggle. I'm already getting seasick here. So let's go into our noise. Let's set our speed to 0.4. And I definitely don't want as much of that side-to-side rocking motion. A little bit maybe goes a long way. I'm going to set this to 9, and maybe even less. Anytime you have an animation you kind of like but you want less, you could certainly dial the numbers in, but you can also just change this strength slider. And this is a nice way to just kind of turn up and down the volume. You could even go positive with this, I think. Yeah, there we go. So we could say like, all right, too much, let's dial it back, and maybe even a little less. All the time, it always stays looping no matter what. So now we have this nice subtle move. The light moves around, boom, and we're ready to go. So from here, what would we do? Well, let's look at the render settings, okay? And in this case, I could just move this way up, give me a lot more room. I'm gonna undo that camera move. Let me turn my camera back on. Okay, there we go. And let's just double check our render settings. So I'm going to move this up. And it looks like it's resolving pretty quickly. We have a little bit of grain down here. The default render settings in this free scene file have some pretty good defaults. Like this is pretty low. This is what I call look dev rendering. This is just sometimes when I want to see the rough animation, I'll just leave it in this mode. It renders very fast, and it actually is resolving pretty nice. Honestly, for a final render though, I usually at least like going to 0.05 and sometimes even lower. So let's just go to 0.03 and do a little bucket rendering just right here in the viewport and see how long this is taking. That is not bad, okay? A lot of this grain has been cleaned up. And we haven't even turned on the denoiser. Now, I've been meaning to do a video about this OIDN denoiser. I think it's really fast lately. I think they've been speeding this up a little bit every time Cinema 4D has a new version. So check this out. Like noise goes away, detail is still, you know, it doesn't really get rid of a lot of detail. I'm just going to move the camera or the light to somewhere else just so we could see a different angle. I mean, look at that. That's denoised. That took 4 seconds to render. So like really fast. Let's go back to the start and see what we got. Let's do one last render. That's looking good. Okay, let's hit play and turn off the denoising just so we could see this really fast in the viewport. Let's also turn off our bucket mode. That's probably what's slowing it down. And I think we're good. Let's do one more resolution here, and let's take a look at the original. The original has probably a different map on here. It's obviously a different model of the head, and it looks like a little bit less, but I think we have a lot of the detail dialed in. The lighting is nice. It's got this nice, you know, side lighting to it, and I think we can maybe even tone that down a little bit more. We have this Redshift tag that's adding maybe a little too much of that thickness. That might be a little over exaggerated. That might feel a little bit better. I do want that beginning to feel a little bit more lit from the side. There we go. Just cheated it forward a little bit. And that is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and hit play. And I love that for the most part, the computer could keep up, give me a rough idea, like even just almost real-time playback. Pretty amazing. That looks pretty good. Don't forget, if you're a Greyscalegorilla Plus member, you have access to a ton of scene files that you can open up, use in production. Check them out down below if you haven't seen them yet. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one real soon. Bye, everybody.